Okay. Sorry for the delay. So we have our last module left in our power electronics topic. Is the thing which you have already done, rectifiers. You have heard already of these terms, rectifier. So we'll discuss about uh, what rectifier is and why we are calling it as phase control rectifier. Now, first of all, why we are doing power electronics? What was the main advantage of this? We were using high power devices that could be used in high voltage and current ranges, and also could be used wherever high frequency ranges were used. And moreover, we could the main objective behind this, we could have a controlled output, and that controlled output is mainly the most important use of that is to control the speed of a any motor, maybe AC or DC motor, according to the output of a power electronic circuit. So this is the first lecture about phase control rectifier. So first thing first, what does a rectifier do? It takes a AC input and gives a DC output, right? So it's converting AC to DC. We already studied about DC to DC inverters, DC to AC inverters, DC to DC choppers, cycloconverters, AC to AC, AC voltage controller, also AC to AC. So last topic is your phase control rectifier. You are converting the AC to DC. Now, why we are calling it phase control? Because previously what you studied was using diodes. In that you couldn't have controlled the output voltage, but now we have a provision of controlling the output voltage because we are having a thyristor. I hopefully you know what is a thyristor, because whenever you give a gate pulse, we had already discussed this, and also you having a first module also discussion about thyristor. So whenever you give a gate pulse, then only thyristor is on, provided that the breakover voltage is not reached. If you reach the breakover voltage, then there is no need of gate pulse. But reaching the breakover voltage means reaching huge kilovolts. So maybe around 5000 volt you have to give a supply to turn on a thyristor. So why to reach give such high voltage? Instead, we'll give a low voltage like 200 volt or 300 volt and give a gate pulse to turn on the thyristor. So that's why we are having a control rectifier, because we are able to control the turn on of the device of thyristor. Whenever we want to turn it on, we can give a gate pulse and make it on. That's why we are calling it as phase control. And what's the main use of a SCR or a thyristor? Thyristor other name is SCR. Okay, first point, SCR means S for silicon, C stands for control, R stands for rectifier. So generally thyristors, the main element that it is made up of is silicon. Controlled because the control rectifier, because the main application of a thyristor is generally for rectifier purpose, because that involves very high voltage transformation. Output frequency is just maximum in three phase, it becomes 6 times of that, so becomes 6 into 50, 300 hertz. But if you take a inverter and DC to DC converter, those operates in kilohertz ranges. So those devices that we used were MOSFETs, IGBTs over there, not a thyristor. You could have used thyristor. There are thyristor choppers also, but for high frequency application, we use MOSFET IGBT. For high voltage application, we use a thyristor because of its ratings. So it can be controlled by controlling its gate pulse. So that is written over here. The firing angle, it is called, how from point which it is on. So phase control rectifier is activated by applying a short pulse at its gate terminal and deactivated due to line commutation. This I told you, you have to give a gate pulse in order to turn it on, and how to turn it off, because in the second half cycle of the AC voltage you have a negative voltage, and negative voltage obviously reverse biases a PN junction device, so it will automatically be turned off, so there is no problem. This type of converters or rectifiers, sometimes you may hear about this word converters. You always use the term rectifier, but don't get confused. We can use the term instead of rectifier, we can use the word converter also. Okay, so converters are classified into two quadrants over here. We will later see it over here. Why two quadrants? According, you think about the quadrant of operation which we had studied in chopper. Like that over here, there are no four quadrants in chopper. In chopper there are four quadrants, but here only two quadrants it is applicable. So how it is defined according to the quadrants? According to the positive and negative value of your load current or your output voltage. So that we'll see it. Okay, so again we can operate this converter into two quadrants. We'll check into what quadrants they will operate. Okay, single quadrant chopper, all these things are written. Single quadrant means only positive output, positive power means plus V plus I. So that gives you positive power, that is written over here. And all most important point, please go through this point once. I just told you in my own words, you can go through this point. Only the most important point is number F, which I want to tell you. Number A and number F is most important before going into detailed study. Is that all study what we will do is considering the SCR or your thyristor to be ideal. What does the ideal switch means? Means it is a switch, so obviously there will be, first point, there will be no voltage drop. That means whenever it is open, we will have an open circuit voltage. Whenever it is short circuit, so you know short circuit, whenever your PN junction is on, there will be a drop of 0.5 or 0.7 volt. Over here, you may have seen in module 2, it has been said that there will be a drop of 1.5 to 2 volt. So that drop will consider to be 0 because we are considering the switch to be ideal. Okay. Under reverse voltage also that drop doesn't exist, and holding current is 0. Holding current, you have heard that in order to make the thyristor off, we have to reduce the current below the holding current. Then only thyristor will be off. So we are considering the holding current to be 0. So if my current becomes just negative, maybe minus 0.000001, so a small point beyond your 0, it will turn off. So that is only I am taking over here. So holding current is 0 over here. That is nothing but what we are saying, that in the negative half cycle, that is I am telling in the positive half cycle thyristor will go up, negative half cycle, as soon as the negative half cycle is given, as soon as the negative half cycle is given, that means at this point only thyristor is off. So this portion thyristor will be completely off. So that is what I am saying by holding current 0. So this reaches 0, voltage and current, if you draw the current also, it will reach 0 over here. So that's why we are seeing that point as a cutoff point, or the holding current reaching 0. Okay. Now we'll jump into water rectifier. See, this study will be very easy because you have understood how your cycloconverter operates. If you compare your, that's why I have explained your cycloconverter in detail, so that rectifiers you know a little bit earlier, and cycloconverter, knowing cycloconverter will lead you to understanding the circuit in a better way and a little bit faster. So in the cycloconverter, what was the change? In the output we need AC. So supply was AC. In the output we need AC. But if you take one unidirectional thyristor, it will always conduct in this way from anode to cathode. So in the output we will get DC for this circuit. But to get AC, what we did? We connected an antiparallel thyristor or diode. So what will be? This diode will also allow in the negative direction. So we'll get positive as well as negative. So in order to make this current to be, or this waveform to be DC, so what does DC means? It has to be made unidirectional. So we'll remove this diode. So if you remove this diode, only the positive portion will remain. Negative portion will be 0, then positive, then 0, then positive 0. So if you take the average value, it will be positive. So it is a DC voltage. All unidirectional, no positive, negative. So it is not unidirectional. Means the output of this circuit will be unidirectional. So now we'll understand the operation, how it operates. See, you know all these things, except one change is that instead of a diode, we are using a thyristor over here. These things you know, how the half wave rectifier operates. But we have to go through it because we need to have a revision of this, because you have a thyristor over here. So what will happen over here? Now, during the first half cycle, see, supply voltage is drawn. So 0 to pi, we are reading this 0 to pi region. And we are giving a gate pulse at this point. So this angle at which the gate pulse is applied is called as alpha, or the firing angle. Okay. So the moment at which the gate pulse is given to the thyristor to make it turn on, that is called the firing angle. And if you refer your books, you will get a better definition in a more concrete manner. You can look into that. So please go through the definition of the firing angle that I am giving you as a task for you. Just for your understanding purpose, what we are doing is physically we are giving a gate pulse at this point. So this delay is called basically your firing angle. So up to this point, from this point to this point, thyristor is not given any gate pulse, so it is off. Whenever it is given a gate pulse at this point, it turns on. Now, in the positive half cycle, what happens? So in the positive half cycle, you can see this polarity is maintained, positive, negative. Plus connected to this is anode. This is your cathode. So plus connected to anode, positive means your PN junction will be forward bias. The thyristor turns on. So current flows from this direction to the load. So if you apply KVL, what you will get? Vs is equal to V naught, right? I'm considering Vt as 0 because ideal, all those things. So if you apply KVL, what you will get? Vs is equal to V naught. So what is Vs during the positive half cycle? This positive part, right? But if you see this region 0 to alpha, what is happening between 0 to alpha? This point is positive, this point is negative, no problem. Positive connected to anode, this will be forward bias, but no gate pulse is given. That means the thyristor is off. So if there is a disconnection, if the thyristor is off, the source and the load will be disconnected. You can easily understand this is a switch. If this is open, there will be no kind of load, means power flow from the source to the load. So what will happen? The current will not flow this into this. So I into R will become 0. So V naught will be 0. So until and unless the thyristor is turned on, the output voltage will remain 0. Okay, all these things you have to write in words. Okay, in your exam copy, whatever I am telling you, please make a note of all these things. Please, today after this lecture, write all these things in a copy. So 0 to alpha is 0, thyristor is off. Now, as soon as we give a gate pulse, as soon as we give a gate pulse, current starts flowing along this red line. So thyristor is on. If Vs is equal to V naught, no problem with that. What is Vs during this point? It is at this point, right? So my waveform from 0 jumps to this point and that follows my Vs up to pi. And hopefully everybody is understanding. If it was a diode, I would have completed this waveform, complete full half cycle I would have got. But since it is a thyristor, we are getting only this portion. Okay. Now, first half cycle operation is done. Okay, load current. We'll follow everything and do this VT later. I'll show you 2-3 methods of drawing VT, how to draw. Whichever is feasible for you, whichever you can understand, you follow that method. That is up to you. What is my current? Since it is a resistive load, it will follow my load voltage only. So whatever my voltage is there, I have drawn it. Only exception is that you should keep in mind, please mention this in your exam copy also. The peak value of this will be Vm. That means the maximum value at this point means 90 degrees. It will be peak, right? So how much is my peak? Vm. And what will be the peak value of this current? Will be Vm by R. So only thing is that if you are showing some magnitude over here, show it little bit smaller over here, because it is Vm divided by R. That will be a good representation. Okay, so I think it will be a good representation. So please look into this. Okay. Next thing is that during the negative half cycle, what is happening? So you have understood this one. I am just removing all this. So we are studying from pi to 2 pi, this region. So my source voltage becomes negative. So can I draw it like this? The upper terminal becomes minus, the lower terminal becomes plus. Obviously, yes. So what happens to my thyristor? The minus connects to the anode. So if a minus connects to the anode, what happens to a diode? PN junction device. It turns off or gets reverse bias. So it is basically off. So if it is basically off, so I can cut this off. If this is basically off, there is no connection between source to load, no connection. I'm crossing it. So if no power flows from source to load, what will be the power? What will be the voltage over here? V naught is equal to I naught into R. So no connection, I will be 0. So I in turn into R will also be 0. So during the second half cycle, we have a 0 voltage and 0 current. And if you can understand up to this, the same process repeats over here, because 2 pi is nothing but 0. So again, this waveform will continue. So again, this waveform is repeated over here. Again, this waveform is repeated over here. Okay, so in your exam copy, if I tell you to ask, explain the operation of a single phase half wave controlled rectifier, you don't have uncontrolled. Okay, no, with diode, with diode you don't have in your exam, but with diode you have to study because it comes in gate. Okay, diode, you know all these things. You just go through your diode rectifier in PS Bhimra because it will be important for your gate studies. Okay. So A to K, it will flow half wave control rectifier. Uh, is what I was saying. Okay. Um, we will have drawn this load voltage and output voltage like this with thyristor operating like this. So you should mention your peak value Vm and Vm by R over here. Next thing, most important thing is, okay, one thing more, that was it. In the exam you have to draw up to 3 pi. Okay, for any waveform regarding rectifier, cycloconverter is not this, sorry, AC voltage controller. Your cycloconverter you have to show many cycles. For AC voltage controller rectifier you have to show up to 3 pi, so that this waveform is shown continuous in nature. See, this waveform is shown continuous in nature. Now, this is a half wave rectifier. You can understand only positive half cycle being rectified, negative half cycle zero. That you have you already have the knowledge. Only thing is that it is a delay of alpha. So we'll see what this effect is there on the output voltage and all. But for now, pictorially, you can understand that if my voltage was starting from zero, right? So if I take the average value, so obviously it will be more than this one. So my average value suppose will be a little level lower than this one because this cycle was complete over here. Now this cycle is starting from alpha to this pi point, so it is having a range, so it is less range than starting from zero, so its average value will be less. So if you can control your alpha, your average and RMS value will change. So that's why we are getting a controlled output. So that's why we are using the term controlled rectifier. Now how will you draw your VT? So for what method will, two methods we'll see. First method, how to draw your VT. So in the first half cycle, okay, we'll analyze from this part because first half cycle has two parts. One is 0 to alpha and then alpha to pi. So in the first half cycle between 0 to alpha, between these 2 points, what is happening? No gate pulse is given, so this is off. So if this is off, if I connect a voltmeter like this, which measures this VT, what reading which will read? Obviously your Vs, right? Because there is no load current flow in this, V naught is 0. So at this point you will have a potential 0. At this point you will have a potential Vs. So what will be Vt? Vt is equal to Vs minus 0, that is Vs. So the first method is just going by circuit theory. Okay, your common concepts of KVL, KCL or potential difference, the basic of electrical engineering. So what is Vs during this portion? This small part, right? So this small part I am drawing over here. Next, from alpha to pi. So alpha to pi, it is on, right? So if it is on, what voltage will get over here at this point? V naught. Now between alpha to pi, what is V naught? V naught is equal to Vs. So Vs minus Vs gives you 0. So this is 0. Right? In the second half cycle, thyristor is off. This is off. This point is open. So 0 over here. What does Vs becomes? Minus. So this becomes minus Vs minus 0. That gives you minus Vs. Or if you consider Vs over here, because just polarity is changing, just what you will get over here, you will get Vs over here only. So Vs is nothing but negative over here. So we are drawing the negative portion over here. Then continues the same thing. This part will be drawn over here. Then again 0. Okay. This is the first method which I want to tell you. Hopefully you have understood. If you have any doubt, you tell me in the first method. If you If you think like this also, during this portion thyristor is on. If it is on, it will act as short circuit, right? No voltage drop, ideal. Short circuit voltage is 0. So 0 over there. Hopefully you have understood. So we'll go to the second method. You can see which one is easy for you, and you can follow that method. Okay, what we'll do is second method, right? Okay, second method. Okay, second method. Second method for me, second method is a little bit easier, but first method is also very easy. But you have to understand your potential difference between 2 points. But for me, second method is a little bit easy because I just apply a KVL in this circuit. What I'll get? Vs minus Vt minus V naught is equal to 0. So Vt is equal to my Vs minus V naught. Okay, this was what I was writing in the previous thing also. What I wanted to show you is from this formula. This formula we have applied in the first method also, and by putting each and every value at each and every instant, we got our Vt and plotted this. But now what I'll do, from here I can say that if I subtract, I am thinking now pictorially. Okay, from the picture I am drawing it, not thinking it technically. If I subtract V naught from Vs, I will get Vt. Or if I write Vs equation, sorry, if I write Vs equation, it will be good. If I write Vs equation, so it will be Vs is equal to Vt plus V naught. So if I combine Vt and V naught, what should I get? Vs. So I already have my V naught. I need to add Vt to it to get this waveform. So what is missing in this part? If you compare this and this part, what is missing? This front part. So that will come in Vt. This part is already drawn, so obviously Vt is 0. The negative part over here is 0 over here, so obviously you will get Vt, the negative part. So now you superimpose these two images. You superimpose these two images, what you will get? You superimpose these two images, what you will get? This portion, right? This portion drawn over here, this portion drawn over. So this plus this gave you your Vs. That is what I want to tell you. Whichever method you want to apply, you can do it. Okay. Whenever you are asked to explain this operation, all this one, this 4 waveform should be there. No need to draw your gate pulse. You just mention at this point only alpha. You can show your gate pulse, not a problem, but that will not fetch any additional marks. Okay, because the most important is supply voltage, load current, and Vt. These 4 things are more important. Because alpha you can show it over here only like this. Now this is the theoretical explanation I have written over here. What I have told, this you have to, like this you have to write in exam copy. Just I have explained over here for first circuit over here. I have written the explanation how to show in the exam copy. In the next things you will see that I have not written all this theory again and again. I will tell you how, means understand, make you understand this circuit. You have to write these modes according to your own. See, according to the study you have seen there are 2 modes from 0 to pi 1 and pi to 2 pi. So you have to break into 2 modes, 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi. Then 0 to pi was broken into 0 to alpha. So 0 to alpha something is written over here. Then 0 to alpha to pi description over here. Sorry, alpha to pi description over here. 0 to alpha description over here. Write the voltages, what is given. Write one line, what is happening to the circuit, and that is gone through it. You can go through it and you can understand it. All those things I have said you. Okay. So go through it, see how it is written, pi to 2 pi. This is reverse bias, hence remains in off condition. Thus, this is 0, this is 0 or not. Okay, you can write this in your own words. But this is the type you have to write. You have to divide it into modes and write it down in your example. HRCR is a half-wave control rectifier. Okay, so short forms of this. Now the most important thing what comes in your exam is your problems. Now, power electronics, we have seen there are many formulas. So please, for apart from your semester exam, I am giving you advice. Please prepare a copy or notes about all these formulas because you will need in competitive exams. All around 12 to 14 marks comes from this power electronics. So take care of all the formulas. You have to take care of all the formulas. That is up to you. I can show you how to derive it. So what is the average value? Okay. So what is the average value? How will you derive it? In your exam, derivation will come. Okay, but for your gate, derivation will not come. Exams, direct formulas will be used. So derivation is important for your exam. That's why I have shown derivation over here. Okay, so my waveform starts from which point? Alpha to pi. But if you calculate the time period, so it is 0 to 2 pi, and you know for a half wave rectified time period is 2 pi. There's no need of further discussion on that. So what will be my average value formula? 1 by t integration 0 to t ft dt. So what is 1 by t? 1 by t is 1 by 2 pi. The integration 0 to t. So 0 to 2 pi. Ft dt. What is ft? Ft is nothing but v naught. And from where v naught comes? V naught is nothing but equal to vs. What is vs? Vs is equal to vm sine omega t. Now, integration limit is from 0 to 2 pi. But between 0 to 2 pi, some part of the waveform is 0. So we can eliminate that. We can take only that part of the waveform which consists of the figure. So which is that part? It is alpha to pi, this portion, from this alpha to pi. So I can break the limits or change the limits first of all only from 0 to 2 pi. You can write this equation from 0 to 2 pi. Then next step will be integration from alpha to 2 pi. But again, next step from alpha to 2 pi, it is not extending. The waveform is extended from alpha to pi. So you see my limits have changed to alpha to pi. So I have, hopefully you understand this. There's no problem with that. If you have any problem, you just stop me and tell me. Okay. So why the limit has been changed, but actually the limit will be 0 to 2 pi. Then you have to convert this limit according to the waveform. So you can do the integration. Sine omega t gives minus cos omega t. See, these things we had already done previously. One second. All these integrations we had done in AC voltage controllers. Please look into those formulas. I told you always to remember this thing. Sine omega t will always come in your equation. If you integrate sine omega t, you'll get minus cos omega t. Put the limits, you'll get your value. Now, if you take a diode rectifier, so what was our alpha? Alpha was 0. So cos alpha is equal to 1. So cos 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2, 2 cancels out Vm by pi. Now you take your value of cos alpha, any other value, it will be always less than Vm by pi. So you are having a lesser average value. So you are getting a controlled voltage according to the value of alpha. Okay. So next is your RMS value. What do you do? RMS, same formula. But what you do? 1 by t, 0 to t, ft square. So what is my ft over here? Vm sine square omega t, that is square. Again, same things I am telling you repeatedly. You will always get a sine square form. Sine square can always be broken into 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. So that 2 comes outside and multiplied will be 2 with this 2 and gives you 4 pi. I'm doing square root of both sides. So square of both sides. So this square root vanishes. So this is your waveform. This is your equation. So you can do this integration. All these are same. This is up to you. But this derivation can come for your semester exam to derive this. Derive the RMS value of output voltage for a half wave controlled rectifier with R load. You can do this. You have to do this. What will be the average output current? Value of output current will be V naught average by R. Output current RMS value will be V naught RMS by R. This is RMS current. Okay, these are the very important formulas. Some other formulas we'll look into that later, which will be required, like form factor, VRF, transformer utilization factor. We'll look into that later. Input power factor. We'll have a formula list for that too. Huge number of formulas. Please take care of that. Next is RL load. This is a part of explanation over here because you have not got any explanation in the first year, but we had done using RL load. Remember, we had used RL load. What happens to when we use RL load? Now we'll just go into brief about this. Now in the positive half cycle, there is not a problem. So we are just skipping this part 0 to alpha. What is happening? Thyristor is off. So no connection between this transformer secondary and the load. So no power can be delivered from source to the load. So V naught is 0. I naught is 0. Okay. We have considered a discontinuous waveform. So current is starting from 0 only. You know this when an inductor, for an inductor, there are two types of current. One is continuous nature, one is discontinuous nature. We have already studied about this. So current, it is starting from 0 over here. Next, when we are giving a gate pulse, it is turned on. So current flows in this direction from load to source. So if we apply KVL, this V is equal to V naught. What is this V? This is my V. What is the nature of V? Positive half cycle. So I've drawn a positive half cycle starting from alpha to pi. Now the next half cycle is very important for us. Why is the next half cycle very important for us? Because we have an energy storing element in the load. Now what does it do? So whatever the energy stored in the inductor, it has to discharge. So how will it discharge? Okay. Now the voltage supply has reached 0 over here, which is minimum value. The inductor has charged to up to some value. So my load acts as my source over here. So the potential drop across this will have a higher potential than this, means in the negative terms, because in the inductor what happens when it discharges, current direction remains same. So current direction will remain same, polarity changes. So this becomes minus, this becomes plus. All these things we have done. So minus connected to minus, plus connected to plus. Thyristor is on for certain period of time. So the inductor discharges through the secondary of the transformer. So till that period my inductor discharges, my thyristor is on. So if you apply KVL, your V is nothing but is equal to V naught. So your V naught follows your V. So it is negative part. So it follows your negative part over here. Then as soon as the inductor discharges, the potential at this point falls. So this potential rises. Now this point is what? Is a negative value over here. So this is basically negative. So negative connected to positive. This is off. So this becomes off over here. Now clearly see that there is a dot convention used over here. Please in your exam copy also, if you are showing dot convention, then follow this only. If you are not showing, then it is well and good. No problem. Means if this is positive, then only this is positive. You know what is dot convention. Then only this positive connected to this positive, it is on. Then only will follow my rule. If you draw this dot convention, then it will go the opposite way. Please follow the dot convention and draw it if you are drawing. If not, no need to draw dot convention. Just draw it simply. So what is happening? The inductor is charging, then the inductor is discharging. Then after this point, it is completely disconnected. Load is disconnected as thyristor is reverse biased. So 0 continues up to this point. Same waveform repeats. Now we'll draw the voltage VT. I'll do by the second method because that will be what else? I can go through quickly through it. If you apply KVL, what will happen? V is equal to VT plus V naught. So whatever the missing part of, if I want to draw V naught and add this to, add and get this supply voltage. So VT should be the missing part of the load voltage. So what is the missing part? This small part over here. Then 0 up to this, because up to this we are getting V naught is equal to Vs. This waveform is only followed. Then again we have a then up to this my VT is 0, because up to this we are getting a load voltage. Then from this point to this point, load voltage is 0. So what we will get? This part of the Vs, right? This part of the Vs. So that's why drawn over here like this. Okay, RL load, anybody has any doubt, you ask, because this is very important. RL load. Why this negative portion is coming? Because your inductor has to discharge it. If it discharges, it will follow the same path. If it follows the same path, it has to discharge through the secondary winding of this transformer. Okay. So till and this value of discharge, the time is required dependent upon your time constant. Tau is equal to Lr. All dependent upon your Lr value. How much time it will take. You can show up to this point also discharging, not a problem. How much time you want to show, you can show, not a problem. Okay. And this point at this gap is taken as beta, but I generally take this point as beta. Whatever you want to take, you can show it. I generally take this point as beta, as extinguishing angle. Okay. Because sometimes in a question beta is given 210, so obviously this gap cannot be 210. This point has to be 210 because this is pi, this will be 30 degrees, so actually this gap will be 30 degrees. So beta is 210, that means this point. So I generally take this as beta. You can take, they have taken this small point as beta and shown this as pi, so this point will be pi plus beta. Whichever you want to show, you can draw it, but according to the value you have to realize whether which value is given or not. If it is given 210, that means this point is directly given 210. If this value is given, this value will be less than around 10 degree, 30 degree, 20 degree. So this is 30 degrees. So this point will be 180 plus 30, that is 210. So that is what I am telling you. Now you see the waveform from here. From where it is starting? It is starting from alpha point. Again, it is a half wave rectifier. Time period will be 2 pi. And it is ending at this point, beta. Or if you take this waveform, it is ending at pi plus beta. Whichever you want to take is the limit, you please do it. I have taken the limit as alpha to beta because this is the general convention I take always. So I is equal to pi. So you have your do your integration. Again, you see sine omega t minus cos omega t. Put the limits. Get your value. Okay. Then RMS value of your output voltage. Again, same thing. Only thing is that square, sine square. So this becomes 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. 2 into 2 becomes 4. Then follows the integration. See, RMS values are large values. That's why what I am telling you is that please prepare a formula list. See, you have to remember all these values. Otherwise, in your exam, means competitive exam, you have to go on deriving these things. So you write all these values in a copy and try to relate it. Okay. You write all the RMS values like this, then you can easily find the relation over here. I'm guaranteeing you, you can easily find a relation between all those values and find a very easy way to remember. Okay, next very important thing that comes over here is circuit turn off time. Okay, so what is that circuit turn off time? At this point beta, the circuit turns off. What is my time period? 2 pi. Okay, so 2 pi minus beta, this point 2 pi minus beta, during this time the circuit is off. 2 pi minus beta, what is my x-axis is omega t is equal to omega t. So what will be t? 2 pi minus beta by omega. So 2 pi minus beta by omega, where omega is 2 pi f. You can easily. So this is another formula that comes for your competitive exam or MCQ. It can come. Now, what is the problem in this waveform? Can anybody tell me any problem in this waveform compared to this? Anybody can try. I can correct you. Please try. What is the waveform difference between this waveform and this waveform, and try to tell me this waveform is with R load. This waveform is of a RL load. Can anybody try tell me what is the difference? Anyone? Okay, so what is happening over here? Because of the inductive load, we are having a negative portion. So it is becoming positive cycle, negative cycle. So it is output is again converting towards AC. Right? If what is a DC waveform? DC have a only either, it may be either plus 5 volt, it may be either minus 5 volt. We don't have a minus 5 volt, but I'm saying it minus 5 just to indicate that unidirection. but it is a bidirectional nature load voltage waveform. So the so the output becomes bidirectional. If it becomes bidirectional, so it is becoming AC. So can I say the rectification efficiency of the rectifier is decreasing? Yes, because the rectifier needs to convert AC to DC. Now, if this waveform increases slightly more further, it continues up to this point. So it will, the rectification efficiency will more decrease. So there is a problem with RL load if I using that. In order to eliminate that problem, what we do is that we use a freewheeling diode. So my third circuit is RL with freewheeling diode. So what is happening over here? Just understand very easy, the most easiest part. RL with freewheeling diode, positive cycle, not a problem. See, positive this one, this way, to this one. Okay, no current will flow through this will be off. So positive cycle, not a problem, not a problem. What happens in the negative cycle? Load polarity changes, minus plus. Okay, this are also changed, minus plus. This is directly connected to this, so it will reverse bias this thyristor, and this minus connected directly to this plus connected directly to it. So my diode will get forward biased. So my inductor will discharge through this path. No current will flow to the source. Now you see, if no current flows to the source, what will be V0? V0 will be VFD, and all things we have considered it as ideal. So V0 will be 0 when it discharges. So in the negative half cycle, this becomes 0 over here. So negative portion eliminated. So no problem with that rectification efficiency. Again, the waveform turns out to be similar to our resistive load waveform. Okay, so that's the problem that can be eliminated by using a freewheeling diode. Why it is called freewheeling? Because the current, when it discharges, it freewheels like a wheel. Like a wheel goes round and round, so it freewheels through this circuit. So that's why the freewheeling diode, that is called. You have seen in all the things you have seen in DC to DC converter inverter. Inductor to discharge, we need a diode to discharge. So that's why a diode should be connected at this. So now we are considering a continuous current. So this part is charging, increasing. This part is discharging, decreasing. Then charging, then discharging, goes on. Okay, don't show our discontinuous current over here. You can show, no problem. So this part is what? This part is what? Freewheeling diode. Okay, and this part is what? Thyristor. Okay, from this waveform only, I'm showing you how can you show a discontinuous value. So if I think my freewheeling diode is conducting only during this small period, so my waveform will be like this, continue up to this, then during this point is 0, then again increase, then decrease, goes during this point 0, then goes like that. So during this point it reaches 0 because no conduction of FD or T. So that's why we will have a discontinuous. You can draw this as discontinuous also, not a problem. Okay, just 2-3 minutes. RLU load, so many things are there. Okay, we'll just up to this we'll complete and IT or IS. What is my source current or your IS? I already have my I0 drawn. So from that I can draw my IT or IS. So whenever my thyristor is connected, the IT will flow. So during which point thyristor is connected? During this point, during this point, during this point. So during this point IT is equal to I0 because it is a series circuit. So IT is equal to I0 during this point, exponentially increasing only during this point. See, only during this point. Now what will be IFD? IFD will be during this point. See, IFD will be during this point. Now when IFD is conducting, it is nothing but equal to I naught. So what is I naught? This decreasing waveform. So this is decreasing. Okay. Another way you can draw it, like the second method I told you, if you apply KVL over here at this node, so what is IT? IT plus, this is also incoming, IFD is equal to I naught. Hopefully everybody is understanding KCL at this point. So if you combine these two, you will get this waveform. See, combine these two. This is decreasing part, decreasing. This is decreasing part, so decreasing part. So you are getting this waveform only. This is how you can draw. And how you draw your Vt, this is I am keeping as a home task for you. Vt plus V naught is equal to Vs. Draw it accordingly. Now, you see that this V naught is coming similar to your resistive load waveform, right? So whatever the equations written over here for resistive load, RMS average, I have just written it over here. So I'm not explaining it again because the same equation I have explained, the same equations are written over here. Okay. Next, circuit turn of time, you can understand this gap. 2 pi minus pi is how much? Pi. Pi is equal to omega Tc. So omega Tc is equal to pi, so Tc is equal to pi by omega. That is circuit turn of time. For this also, for R load also. And the foremost important thing over here is that input power factor improves over there. We will see how input power factor improves. There is a formula. Okay, since your waveform is improving, your input power factor is determined to improve over here. So next thing, your load current waveform improves. So why load current waveform improves? We are having a, if I try to make this operate in a continuous conduction manner, so I can have a load current to be improved in nature. No inductor, so load current becomes no more fluctuation. So fluctuation reduces. If I take a continuous waveform, so there is a fluctuation from 0 to suppose 5 ampere. If I take this discontinuous, if I take continuous, so there is load fluctuation suppose 4 to 5 ampere. So it almost reaches steady state waveform. So that is very important. So load current waveform is improved, and that's why load performance will be better, because always a constant current will flow. So load performance will be better. It will deliver always a more or less constant power at the output. And at last, we also see the converter efficiency improve. Why converter efficiency improve? Just now I have told you, because over here there is a negative portion. The rectification efficiency reduces. What is rectification efficiency? Efficiency is output by input. So what is the output? DC power. What is the input? AC power, right? So you just do this you can do this calculation and find out this. Or if you want to see from the waveform, this waveform is turning out more towards AC, right? So obviously your rectification efficiency will decrease, because at the output we need DC waveform. So in that term we can say this last point. So these 4 points are very important. So tomorrow we'll go through this single phase with RL load. There are many topics, so many big topics are there. So each load you have to understand using which load, and according to the question given in your exam, you have to use the formula and explain whichever I have asked you. If I ask you to explain RL with freewheeling dart, then you have to draw this waveform and write explanation. Explanation means like this you have to write down. For each circuit, please write down an explanation on your own like this. Okay. So this is for today's lecture. Just go through it.